So basically over the years of my life, obviously I've had, as everyone, many good times and bad times, and a lot different when September 7th, 2014 happened. I had a stroke at 38 years old, and the dog I adopted just 1 week before saved my life. I was living in Manhattan for the past 8 years as a writer and an editor, and I was freelancing at the time. And then it really all began on September 6th, 2014. I had a pretty stressful week at work. I just adopted a black lab, so of course the normal stresses about having a new dog. And of course I had started freelancing, and my boss decided on vacation, so more stress was added. Exactly 1 week after I got the dog, the following Saturday, I dropped my dog to one of those daycare places to see if she was good to be dropped off. And I went back to my apartment and turned on the kitchen light, and I couldn't feel it in this hand. And then later I went to the bathroom and I went to use a soap dispenser, and I couldn't feel it in this hand. But again, you don't really think that, you just think, oh, I'm tired. Like she was actually said in her, I just said all the way lie down, and maybe I'm just tired. So later I went back and picked up the dog, and I don't remember much for the evening, but I do remember that I then went around 9 o'clock and went to walk the dog. And I remember I lived on 2nd Avenue, not far from here, and I sat down in the middle of the sidewalk on 1st Avenue for like a minute, and then I stood up and went back home. But I think something obviously had already started, because normally I'd be like, what's wrong with me? So I went back to my apartment. I do remember not being able to really know how to use the remote, and then I fell asleep. But the next thing I knew, I was woken up by my dog barking, and she was sleeping on the floor. In the week I had her, she never slept on the floor. She slept in the bed, and also she never barked, and she was barking like crazy when she woke me. And I'm not a morning person, so I probably would have slept till who knows when on a Sunday. And so she woke me up, and I don't remember the details, and I just knew something was wrong. I called my, and I'm glad she did wake me up, because time is the most important. I remember how I knew exactly what was wrong at the time. I called my best friend, and I don't know if I actually called him or if he was the most recent call, but he said that I said to him, something's wrong with the right side of my house. I think because that didn't make sense. I was probably trying to say something's wrong with my right side. And as my parents were living in Ohio at the time, my dad is an EMT and in the medical field, so I said the same thing to them. And they also knew something was wrong. So one of my friends quickly came down. I don't know why we didn't call 911, but one of my friends quickly came to my apartment, and we got in a cab, and for some reason I was able to say I wanted to go to NYU. I don't know why. So I went to the hospital, I went to the ER, and they of course asked what's wrong, and my friend said that every question they would ask me, I would just say my name. So she had to tell them what was wrong. And soon after enough questions and enough examination, they realized that I had a stroke, and I needed to be checked into the hospital. I never thought I would spend 5 days there, and then my mom had to return the dog, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to keep her, which 4.5 years later, still sad about. I thought I was scared then, but I had no clue what was to come. I soon realized I lost all of my language skills. I couldn't talk normal like this. I couldn't read or write, which is crazy, because I work as a copy editor for a living. In fact, I could write this story. And I couldn't even get my words out. Like, when my neurologist, Dr. Torres, would come into my room every day, and I would kind of dread it, because he was great, but he would always ask me questions. He would always point at his watch, and he'd say, what's this? And I never could get the words out. And he would say, pull out his pen, and he would say, what's this? Couldn't say. But they started to teach me, try to describe what I wanted to say. And the stroke happened September 7th. I was there for 5 days. So I was there during the 9/11 anniversary, and that's all that was on the TV. And I remember when my nurse came in, I couldn't say September 11th. I couldn't say 9/11, but I did say, wasn't today with the dead people downtown. The fact that I could get that out, but couldn't just say 9/11. Same thing, like I had a view of the East River. Couldn't say river, so I would say water. So it's interesting why certain things I couldn't get out, but bigger phrases you could get out. It's great to remember, because sometimes I think was that all a dream? But I still had more to come. And when it was time to leave the hospital, my parents were living in Ohio at the time, and I couldn't live alone at first. My mom obviously couldn't stay forever. So they said they did say the insurance was gonna cover a certain rehab. I would have to come to like a nursing home that the insurance would cover. And I was my mom, and like 38, you're not gonna wanna do that. So I had to go back to Ohio with her. But we first went back to my apartment for about a week and a half, and one of the scary parts was that my mother had to help me shower, which at 38 years old is not something I want to be doing. I didn't know which was a shampoo bottle, I didn't know I didn't know how to put it on. And it's like, you don't realize it's like you have to kind of relearn everything. About a year after that, we had to head to Ohio. We were flying to Ohio. My mom insisted I could get a wheelchair, because I had the energy to go. And then I remember sitting at the gate, and I wanted to write something on Facebook trying to practice. So I remember I wanted to write "Bye NYC, soon Ohio," which is like 4 words. And it took me almost an hour to do that. It's interesting, like Facebook has something called Facebook Memories, where you can look back 4 years ago what you were writing on Facebook, and it's kind of like a real reality when it shows up every year to see like I actually like wrote that and how badly it was. It shows to show how much recovery helps you. Once we boarded the plane, I also got nervous because your brain is so on edge about everything. And then I was like, what if when we descend in the plane that it's gonna do something to my brain again? And so I started crying. Looking back, you think it's crazy, but your brain was so fragile at that time that I was nervous about everything. So we went to Ohio. I was sad the whole time I was there. Am I ever gonna work again? Will I ever be able to travel again? When I go back to the city, will I be able to be scared to cross the street? I'll never jaywalk again. You think you're scared of everything. And your brain really affects everything. And also, because it's a lovely country, like insurance is terrible, and I couldn't even get rehab in Ohio because you can only do it, you're only covered in the state that you live in. So my mom found at a local university a group that it would so I could meet other people, and it was very difficult because people were such different. I was very lucky because a lot of people could barely talk, could barely walk. So I was very lucky in that respects. But it's because everything for me was language skills. And my mom did buy me a dry erase board that could help me practice. She would help me practice sentences, and then the rehab before we left New York, giving her some exercises. And she brought that in because once I started feeling better, I started writing positive messages on it because it's a very difficult time and you lose faith. And so this was a lot of positive messages that I wrote during my recovery. Like, never give up, I can do this, stay positive. And this was stuff I wrote during my recovery. And I've always kept it, I look at it like every day, because you feel like you don't want to forget what you've been through and don't want to ever let it happen again. So after I've been in Ohio for about a month, I started getting a buzzing in my right ear. It was kind of sound like a loud heartbeat. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. It was terrible. And again, you're in Ohio and I don't have insurance. And then of course you get scared, is something else happening? You're not gonna go to NY to get an MRI when you don't have insurance in Ohio. So we drove back to New York. My mom drove because I actually tried to practice in the Ohio driveway, seeing if I still knew how to drive, and I kind of didn't know what to do. So my mom drove me back to New York. We came to see my neurologist again, and I had another MRI. Everything was fine. And then it wouldn't stop, and I was driving my mom crazy. I'd already been driving her crazy already, and so I remember coming back here at NYU at like 6 a.m. to see someone. And I soon found out it was tinnitus, which is caused by severe extreme stress, is one of the many things. And that was helpful. And my mom actually had to leave. She had barely no sleep, but she had to start driving back because she has road appointments back in Ohio. And I always joke with her that it started to get better once she left, because I think we were both stressing each other out a lot. But then I was pushing on my own. And before she left, I'd have friends come over and help me practice my pill bottles for the week. Because remember, I couldn't read, and I didn't want to take the wrong pills. So I had a lot of guilt because about 2 months before, doctors for years have told me that I had high blood pressure, I should get medicine, but you always think, oh, it's white coat syndrome. I'm just nervous as a doctor. But about 2 months before, I went to a new doctor, 2 months before the stroke, and he said, your blood pressure's so high, you should really go to ER right now. And I thought he was not, I I was like, whatever, like I'm not gonna go to ER. And I went home and I remember thinking that night to my friend about him, being like, oh, I can't believe he thought I should go to ER. This is 2 months before this happened. So I had a lot of guilt as I recovered. If I would have listened, this is what I've told everyone since, if they say you go to the ER, you go to the ER. But so we can't focus on the guilt. So I started Rusk Rehab, October of 2014. The only good part was I didn't have that physical therapy, which is shocking for most people when I say I had a stroke. I was very lucky. I had weakness in this right hand, but it didn't last a really long time. They PT tested me, and luckily I didn't have any physical issues. They would keep testing me like walking and balance, and I was fine. I was luckily fine with that. But then I had enough. I started speech therapy. I started cognitive therapy. And when I started speech therapy, she would pull out a drawer, a box of objects, and she would back to what my doctor did in the hospital. I remember her pulling out eyeglasses and a ruler and scissors, and like the fact that I can see them so easily now, I couldn't say what they were. You don't realize you break down in tears. You're like so frustrating. I started occupational therapy, which helps you to live at home, and we would do exercises like baking, so while she would keep talking, we had time to see, so you keep your focus. And then we would do these really difficult like word games that would be so frustrating because you couldn't grasp it. And another show and tell I brought was, this is another thing that I use in occupational therapy. And it's basically, I'll take it home and put it on the wall. And you want to see it, how fast you can read these letters and numbers. Because it's very difficult because you can't get out what you want to say. Like even now it's like, Y, L, 4, B. It's like, but then you don't realize how difficult the simplest things were. But I was at rehab almost every day for over a year. And obviously some of the exercises you'll break into tears, you're so frustrated. But I was very lucky because at rehab you see people in wheelchairs, you see people in walkers, and they're a lot worse off. So you have to put yourself in perspective of where you're at. But as I said, I was working as a copy editor. I was hoping to get disability, but because I was not working full time, I was freelancing. And so you can't get short-term disability. You don't realize how important it is to be working full time, benefits-wise. Because we then applied for long-term disability, and I was just stressing and worrying, like, I don't get it, I'm gonna pay my bills. Well, I didn't get it, because with stroke victims, they make you wait about, I think it was about 7 months before they tested me. And then they said, oh, well, you've progressed too good. They said, I think there's something you have to be, not work for over a year to get this. And I remember saying, like, do you think I'm too good? I'm like, this hasn't been too, it's not, I don't feel too good. But obviously I'm not working. I was very lucky to have very supportive parents, because otherwise I would have had to give up everything. But I was very lucky with regard to that. But I continued to focus on my recovery. I bought brain games to have at home. And then my last item for my show and tell is I bought this 4th grade workbook. And I practice exercises. 4th grade, at 30 years old, she works as copy editor. And I was looking back on it today, and like the basic words I couldn't even spell. And the practice and like the words I had to like read, I had to cross the exam and redo it. And I just wanted anything that, even when I wasn't in rehab, to help get better even faster. But I lost my spelling capabilities working as having a degree in journalism. That was very difficult. Even now, like I still have to thank God for an online dictionary. Rehab was difficult at the time, but I never gave up. I learned how to read and write and to lead a successful life here in this city. I never thought I'd be writing a story and not have a problem writing this. About 20 months later, I graduated from rehab. My rehab doctor said I didn't have to come back anymore unless I wanted to. I still go see my neurologist every year, but only once a year now. It's actually every June. And it's actually the one doctor's appointment that I actually look forward to. It's always a great appointment because he's always blown away like how great I'm doing. And he also, every time I go to his office, he'd have a little book of pictures, and He'd always say, "Name, tell me as many things in this picture as you can." It was so difficult the first couple of go. Now it's fun because now it's pretty easy. The other fear I wanted to overcome was I hadn't ridden a bicycle, and another big thing about strokes is balance. You lose a lot of balance capabilities, and I finally attempted it 2 days ago. Actually, I planned to go over to Governor's Island with my friend on Sunday, and I was worried what would happen trying to get on the bicycle, and I was nervous. It was kind of like back when I was in the Ohio driveway, not freaking out, I didn't know how to drive again. I had like a millisecond of that freak out, but then I just like gave it a go. I was a little wobbly at first, but I ended up riding all around the island with her, and I was very happy to like overcome that fear. But I was very lucky, and my life did change forever. I still call myself 90%. My spelling's not back to what it was. I still sometimes, if I text a friend, I type a wrong word, or if I'm nervous or speaking in front of people, I stumble on my words, or if I'm tired, I can, stumble on pause on what I want to say. But I'm proud of how far I've come. I was worried that I would never get my editing skills back. I was worried I would never travel again to my favorite places, which are like Disney World and Europe. I was feeling like I couldn't do anything on my own again. But I did start freelancing back as copywriter just about 11 months after my stroke, part-time, and it got me back into the groove. And about 20 months after my stroke, I got a full-time copywriting job again. And I'm continuing to work full-time. I edit about 4 magazines every week, and I fix other people's mistakes, which I find fascinating. And I did visit Disney World 9 months after my stroke to celebrate my recovery. And this September, which will be the week of 5 years for my stroke, I will be visiting Europe again. I am crossing off the dream list. I'm going to Greece for 9 days, and I'm going to be there during the 5-year anniversary of the worst day of my life. So that I feel like that's a way to celebrate.